Alright, so I've done all my corner stitches now, adding my second piece of fabric in there for support on the corners of all the material. And I had a really tough time whenever there was a double layer to go through, like at the top seam. So I think in this circumstance I'm going to just fold once and seam the outer edge instead of twice. But before I do that, I want to make sure that all my edges are not going to fray. So I'm going to use a little fire on a candle to clean up the edges a little bit, just to make them nice and smooth. That way they won't fray. Don't burn the whole thing up. They won't fray after I just sew them under instead of sewing a double fold. So we're going to try that now and see how that looks. I'll show you a little bit after I get some going. Just going to try and get a shot of this for you so you guys can see. I don't know if it'll come in very good, but I'm just going along the edge of this, melting back the edges just a little bit. You can definitely tell it's some kind of a plastic material, because as you go across it, it starts to melt just a little bit. You can see all the little fray, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see all the little fray marks just curling back in as I go across it, right up to the edge. So I'm just running that all on the whole outer edge, seal up all my edges so they don't fray. And this is a little bit on the time consuming, but no more so than running a stitch down the edge of the whole thing. Nice neat trim stitch. I don't have to fold it over. I gotta be careful because sometimes it actually catches fire and tries to run in, so I gotta put them out really quick. That tried to do there. If you use the blue part of the flame instead of the yellow, you don't scorch it, you just melt it. Always remember that. Try to use the blue part of the flame, not the yellow. Alright, here's a tarp, all hemmed on the edges. That's the two doors folded back. I marked this one. Oh, I marked that one. Right there, that's where my center rectangle's going to go. I've got to put one right here, and then two down in that area over there. Looks pretty good. So this door's folded back over there. Open over here. Got to sew on all my canvas strapping, or 7/8 inch. Got to store on these 4 rectangles. One goes right about there, 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 and there. Those will be for tie-outs. I got 4 of those made. That was the candle I was using to smelt the edge, or melt the edge. Here's the string I'm going to be using for tying down this stuff. It's a little heavier, very strong material. It will be white, but that's alright, I don't mind. So those are the 4 marks I still need to tie down right there. Stitched down, I mean. But all these are in place, all one on the outside, and all the edges are hemmed. Still have to do this part here, which is where I gotta get my D-rings, and that's the part that right there is those. So I need my D-rings before I can do either of these. And these are the D-rings that I had, but I think I'm going to go ahead and opt for not doing the metal and do plastic instead. I thought maybe I'd use the 2 metal D-rings on this right here and this right here, just for strength on that point and that point. Go to plastic on these 2 and these 2. On this I don't think I'm going to sew a D-ring, and this I don't think I'm going to sew a D-ring. I think I'm just going to sew a loop and let that be the door come together with a carabiner. And on these 4 middle ones, I'm thinking about going with something like a keyring, slotted keyring, but I'm going to see if they make them in plastic, because you really want this to break if somebody trips over your line versus your tarp ripping. So I'm trying to see if they make a keyring in plastic, a real cheap plastic that will break, especially when the wind starts kicking. You don't want it to. Usually your stakes will pull out before your tarp rips, but these tend to get tied off. These things right here tend to get tied off to trees, and I don't want it to break the tarp. I'd rather the line won't snap, so it's got to break here. So I got to try and find something less strength than metal. That's in a keyring slot like this that can be replaced if need be once the stitching is sewed shut. So that's where we stand. We're getting there.
I can't even show the whole thing, it's so big. Alright, we'll talk to you guys later.